Salute to all the subscribers, all the new viewers. I want to thank you guys for your support. Salute to all the Patreon members. I want to thank you guys for your support as well. To all the Patreon members out there, I am going to upload a video early in the morning at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So by the time you wake up, should be right there on the Patreon page. Check out the links in the description box below if you want to catch that video and other videos as well, dating back to when did I start that Patreon? Back in 2000, I want to say 2021, 2020. So check out videos that date back then. There's a bunch of videos on Patreon. Check that out. Check out the Facebook page. Link is in the description box below. Also, salute to Ozzy. The picture that you see on the screen, it is AI, of course, as you can see why. I was gonna put that on the thumbnail, but it was a great picture. It's just the hands, and you can't edit. You can't really edit that. I mean, I guess I could if I had Photoshop, but to regenerate another photo exactly like that, but either her hand off his arm and them holding hands or vice versa, it's like it'd be impossible with the generator that I use. It'll just create a totally new photo. And I like this photo right here that's on the screen. It's just the hands that throw it off. Salute to Maurice Branch. All right, so I want to get my final thoughts on Panama. Earlier I said 6 out of 10, and then I changed it. And I was like, 6 out of 10 is too low. 7 out of 10 might be too low, but I would have to go there 1 or 2 more times to be able to bump it up to 8 out of 10. All right. 7 out of 10 is a good score. It's a decent score. It's a passing score. Especially in Texas, that's a passing score. 6 out of 10 to us is failing. Some of y'all come from states that are a little bit slower, where 6 out of 10 is passing, like California. California, I think a 60 is passing. Not in the state of Texas. 69 is failing. All right. I don't know the passing score out of all states when it comes to grammar school, grade school, but in Texas, 7 out of 10 is passing, 6 out of 10 is failing. Now, first and foremost, the reason why I would give it a passing score is because, number one, especially where I'm at, is very close. All right, it's a 3.5-hour flight. You can't beat that. You can find low costing tickets if you book in advance. If you book in advance, and then if you get on the 12-hour flight where there's a layover in Miami, you could get a $400 round trip ticket, $450 plus tax. Now, if you want a one-way ticket with no layovers, it's going to run you about $1,400, $1,500. And then, seat selection is going to cost extra money on top of that. So it's around $2,000, which flights to Panama, especially now, you don't need to pay extra for seat selection, because now, people aren't really flying like that. And a lot of people aren't flying to Panama like that. Like both ways, going to Panama and coming back to Texas, there was plenty of room. So I don't even know why I did the seat selection. I mean, I do know, but now I know I don't need to. All right. Another thing is, there's only two. It's like there's economy and there's a business class. They made it seem like it was first class, business, economy, then economy. When I got on there, it was like, no. So I booked my seat and basically a different seat in the I just got moved up towards the front of the plane in economy. That's it. When the website made it seem like it was totally different. So I didn't like that. All right, but that has nothing to do with Panama. Let's continue. So it's not that far. Flight is not as expensive. Only takes a couple hours to get there. The majority of people that I met in Panama were friendly towards me. I didn't meet any rude people. I mean, I met entitled women, but I'll get to that in a second. All right, I didn't meet anybody rude. Right, even the entitled women, when I met them in person, they were not rude. It was just through text message. You don't have a tone attached to the messages on a text message, so it can come across like an asshole. But in person, these women were nice towards me. People were nice towards me. It didn't matter who they were. When I went to the mall, the Uber drivers, waiters and waitresses at restaurants, the staff at the hotel, everybody was kind towards me. So that's another point. The weather was nice, warm. You don't have to worry about a winter season. It's just a dry season and a rainy season. And if you have somebody to bundle up with, then the rainy season isn't that bad. Um, I don't know if it rains that much during the rainy season at night. From what I'm hearing, it rains really, really hard during the day, but then it's not all day. It eventually stops during the rainy season. So, um, I would say travel down there during a dry season. There's 2 seasons, so pick one. Um, so that's not bad. I'll give it a point for weather. Just be careful staying outside too long because of the humidity, right? But I give it a point for the weather. Give it another point, maybe even 2 points for the ambiance. It was nice. Another point for safety. Another point for the food. Okay, the food. I didn't actually eat at a Panamanian restaurant. I would say the closest thing I ate towards like a Panamanian restaurant was I went to steakhouses. So obviously that's not Panamanian food. I went to a breakfast cafe spot, like a brunch spot, had me a Nutella waffle with bananas and a breakfast burrito. That was good. Is that Panamanian food? No, but it was good. Everything that I ate in Panama was good. Next time I'm gonna try more of the local restaurants. So even though like they probably it's like they have their own version of what it is they make, but it might be Mexican food or American food, right? Um, I went to this one steakhouse. I posted a picture of it on like Snapchat, Instagram. I'm not sure if I posted it up on Facebook, but I ordered these nachos and the chips, they were very thick. They were, crispy, kind of hard, but it was still good. Visually, it was good. It still tasted good. It wasn't terrible, right? Um, Salute to Saul. 7 out of 10 is not a bad score. I would give Panama a strong 8 out of 10 because of safety. You want to know something? I was starting to give it an 8 also. Originally, I gave it a 6, but then I was like, no, I got to give it a 7. But it does deserve an 8, right? Um, Another thing is the women, right? The women look good. Their bodies are built the way we like them in Panama. It's a safe country. So, you know, I would walk the streets with women in Panama. I didn't feel like there was anywhere that I could not go to. All right. Whether it was walking down a neighborhood, I didn't even double check if the neighborhoods. I mean, they were close to Cinta Costera, right? So I, I I I didn't even double check some of the neighborhoods I was walking through were places that like, hey, do I need to double check if I should be walking through here or should I just get an Uber? Because some of these steakhouse restaurants, they're in the middle of neighborhoods. And instead of just me getting an Uber and going back to my hotel, I would just walk around, right? I would walk around, get a feel of the people walking past, um, the houses, the graffiti on the wall, just, the sidewalks, the street, the air, the trees. I wanted to roam the streets and get a feel of the area. And I would do that a lot. I never during the day, at night, early in the morning. Um, I didn't feel a sense of danger. So yes, that deserves a point. So what do we have? The point system. The point system is distance and the cost of the flight. That could be 1 or 2 points. Um, People are friendly. That's another point. You have the women look good, their bodies look good. That's another point. And then there's a variety of different women there that are also friendly and respectful for the most part, from what I observed. That's another point. Number food. The food was decent. Number five, I didn't. Next time I'm gonna try local foods. Right. They have a nice shopping mall there. Right. That deserves a point. Um, like it's like the Cinta Costera area. That's a nice fitness area, right? So there's a lot of people jogging, riding the bikes, rollerblading, playing tennis, basketball, soccer, volleyball, all up and down Cinta Costera. So there's a need to stay fit there in Panama. Was that number 6? Did I already say safety? So safety bumps it up to 7. But like I said, some of the other things that I pointed out could be 1 or 2 points. The weather, that's another point. All right. So that, yes, it does deserve a 7 or 8. It could be interchangeable. 7.5 to be fair. At least a 7.5. And here's another thing. I didn't go to any rooftop clubs. There's still more exploring that I need to do when it comes to Panama for it to deserve a solid 8 for me. I'm not going to argue with an 8, but a solid 8, I would have to explore more. All right. Next time I'm going to get an Airbnb. I don't feel like you have to get a hotel. See, I had 300,000 points in this group that I'm in, this hotel group that I'm in. So I'm an elite member, so I had 300,000 points. So I needed to use those points. So my stay there was free. But there's so many different Airbnb options, and I don't feel like booking an Airbnb in Panama is going to be the same as booking an Airbnb in Colombia or Brazil, where, hey, you know what? Maybe you do need that sense of security there. I mean, you always got to be careful no matter where you go. All right. You always got to be careful. But there were some things about the hotel that I didn't like. And I'm not going to dox, Panama off the point system because of that that's because of the hotel. That's my gripe with the hotel. The hotel room was nice. I got it, I got a video and pictures of it on Facebook. If you want to join the Facebook, make sure you answer the questions and you have an active Facebook page. It doesn't look like a spam account, right? But my issue with the hotel was like the food was trash at the hotel. There's no washer and drying machines on the floors. And they're saying if you want us to wash your clothes, you have to put it in a bag and give it to them, then they'll bring it back to you. No, I didn't like that. Um, what else? What else? That's all I can remember off the top of my head. They had like a little entertainment room, and they were playing the Super Bowl. That was cool. But I just remember I didn't like the food or the whole wash machine setup. They didn't have like a snack room at all. Um, in this hotel group, that I'm a member of, all the hotels I've ever been to, they had like a snack room, right? This one didn't. So that's with the hotel. Let me not get sidetracked, but I don't feel that if you book an Airbnb in a decent area in Panama that, you know, there's a threat of somebody running up in your spot. You still have to be careful, right? You still have to vet women. And it depends on where you pull these women from. There's a pictures and videos of a woman I pulled from the Havana Cafe, or is it Habanos Cafe? I keep on saying Havana. The Habanos Cafe photos. She was Colombian. Her friend were Colombian, right? Colombian women, they have a reputation of, you know, scopolamine a lot of brothers and robbing them and then overdosing on scopolamine them, and they end up unaliving them. They have a negative reputation of that. I have not heard any stories of anybody doing that in Panama. I'm not going to say it's never happened. I haven't heard any stories, but I would feel safer. I felt safe bringing her back to the hotel because you got to leave your ID in the front, right? But the threat, besides that woman, the threat of somebody seeing you're a foreigner in that area and then following you and running up in your spot, I didn't feel that. But, you know, hey, man, you could vet women yourself, right? you, you you don't have to give women a pass just because you have an Airbnb. You can say, hey, look, what's it, what's in your purse? Do you have any drugs in your purse? You can ask. They don't have to show you, but you don't have to let them enter, you know. And it depends. If you have that rapport with a woman and you feel comfortable enough to book an Airbnb and for her to come back, then that's okay. But as far as the areas, I don't feel like if I step out of my Airbnb that something negative is going to happen to me. That's the point I want to get at. All right. So I feel comfortable booking an Airbnb the next time, have a full kitchen. I can cook. That's another thing about the room I was in. There was no stove top, or the refrigerator was warm as well. So I am definitely going to get an Airbnb next time, pick what I want, much cheaper, get an apartment, you know, refrigerator, oven, stove, washer, dryer, definitely doing that this time. Um, you know, um, I'm not into the whole, I tried to compare this. I wanted to compare Panama to Thailand, even though I know you can't. But, with how I felt about Thailand, I felt better being in Panama than Thailand. All right. Thailand, yes, there's a lot of women who are offering services for money in exchange, right? But a lot of those women, they're not ugly, but the thing is, it's like I can find women more of my type if I want to go down that route in Panama. Is it going to cost a little bit more? Yes, but at the end of the day, the flight's cheaper. The flight's a little bit more expensive. You're on the plane longer going to Thailand. Whereas like in Panama, the duration of the flight is shorter. The flight is cheaper. Uh, your stay isn't necessarily cheaper. It's definitely cheaper if you book an Airbnb versus a hotel, but you have that security in Panama if you do go to hotel route. And that's anywhere. You do have that security anywhere you go. Um Thailand's a little bit different. Like if you book a condo over in Thailand, they do have a front desk and cameras, and you know, you get a key card. The key card can only take you up to that floor. You do have a lot of spots like that. So, it's but they're not obligated to hold on to somebody's identification in at a condo in Thailand. But, in Thailand is one of those places where it's a good place to live if you can make the money. If you make a certain amount, if you make like $3,000-$4,000, you're good in Thailand a month. If you can make that on your own. But you know, the women, it just, even though you could pay at a cheap price for anything that you want to, if you want to pay for an orgy, you could do that in Thailand, right? If you want to pay for an or like if you want to, like, hey, look, 5 girls and me, let's go. You could pay for that at a fairly cheap price in Thailand. That right there is $150, $200 right there, right? But and the food is pretty good, but there's a certain level of class in Panama that lacks in Thailand. You understand? There's more activities to do in Thailand as far as fun. You could pick any night market you want to go to at night, right? So if you want to be accompanied by a woman, you could, I mean, that's definitely going to cost, right? Guys that are messing around with women for free, the quality of those women that they're messing around with, it's in the toilet. It's beyond terrible. Don't let these men confuse you about the women that they pull over in Thailand. I've never really seen a guy pull the women that I pulled, not even girl number 4, if you're on the Facebook page, but we talked about 5 different women. All right. Girl number 1, 2, 3, or 5. If you've been paying attention to the Facebook page or the Patreon page, you're not seeing guys walking around with them like how I was, or any other guy, rather. Even Saul, in my Instagram DMs, he showed me pictures of a woman he was dealing with, and she was very attractive, right? In shape, black woman, Afro Latina, looked real good. She looked real cute in her glasses, no kids. You don't see a woman like that. And even her, I would give her an 8, right? You don't see men over in Thailand walk around with 8s like that at all. I've never seen that in Thailand, right? Most guys, if they're messing around with a woman in Thailand for free, they're like a 2 or a 3, right? They're either overweight or they have a kid, they're on drugs, they're heavy in the nightlife scene, messing around with a bunch of men for free, right? They pulled them out the club, or all the above, everything I just mentioned. It's always something. It's never really a dime, right? And if they look good to you, then more than likely they got a bunch of kids. They got like 2 kids. And hey, maybe they have kids also. So I'm not judging. But comparing it to another passport destination like a Thailand, and this is why I would have to give Panama a 7 or an 8, and I would have to dox the point system. All right. It loses a point because the hangout spots really seem like they're just all clubs. If you're not chilling inside, find you a good woman and get out the nightlife scene. You could do that, right? I still have to do a little bit more exploring. I don't see too much information online about, you know, different hangout spots, right? But Thailand, it's like there are so many night train markets at night. It's ridiculous. It's a chill vibe. They know how to do it in Thailand. Chiang Mai, Bangkok, it doesn't matter. They know how to do it when it comes to the nightlife. You don't have to go to Club Sugar, right? You don't have to go to Tong Lor. You don't have to go to Club Demo. You can go to, man, do you know how many night train markets at the height of tourism in Thailand? I was there before, 2020 hit. I was there. I was there in 2014, from 2014 to 2019. And then I came back in 2022. I was there. I saw the before and after. I remember I used to live in Hoi Kwong. There was like two night train markets just on that strip alone, within walking distance. Right behind Esplanade Mall, there was a huge night train market. That was a very, very popular one. They got rid of it, right? Then they were building like a night market, uh, I think behind the street mall, got rid of it. There's so many hangout spots that you could go to in Bangkok, and you don't have to go to a club. There's Asia Teak, there's Lumpini Park, there's um they got spots on Nana, M Quartier, right? You could go to Icon Siam Mall. They have the deck that you can go out. You could go outside, hang out outside. The mall is closed, but they still shining lights onto. They still got all these lights, these colorful lights flashing. They have this outside deck that you can hang out. Then it's a port, and then you could get on the bus that rides. Well, not the bus, the sea bus, the boat that rides up and down the river. The boat has a restaurant on there. You could eat with your girl. You could dock there, get off there, go get off on another spot. You could hang out in Bang Na. I mean, there was so many spots to hang out at. There's so many chill spots to hang out at with your girl in Thailand. Maybe I didn't do enough exploring in Panama. It doesn't feel like that in Panama, right? It's like either a club or a cafe, and a cafe is like the booty spot, right? So it's like the only hangout spot I could say during after hours or at night, if you don't want to go to a club, is really like Cinto Costera. So far, there might be other parks, but I just don't know about it yet. So I would, besides the tourist area, the touristy stuff, which isn't that much, I still have to discover more hangout spots. So I feel like they need to try to either do better, or I need to do better at researching. So I got to dox a point on that. Another point I got to dox is there's a lot of tattoos. There's a lot of baby mamas in Panama, right? There's a lot of, I'm not saying they're ugly or anything. There's cute women, but and we're not talking about just one kid. We're talking about 27 years old. They got 3 kids. There was a lot of women I met with like 3 kids in Panama. I did not like that. Now, is that each and every one of them? No, but it was a lot. And it's like, um, it's like, if you ask somebody how old they are, you can almost guarantee they got a bunch of kids, right? I would say, man, if they older than 22, prepare for them to say they got kids. There was a lot of baby mamas over there. Now, I did see quite a bit of families, but on the single side of things, it's like, you got a bunch of women looking for men, boyfriends, and it's like, do you got kids? Yeah. And when you say you got kids, you're looking for a man, and then you got a kid, it's like, I can't trust you as far as a relationship because either, you had you poor decision making, right? You didn't require marriage to have a kid with you. Your kid is very young, so there was, because I'm still like on Bumble and Tinder even after I left, and I matched with a bunch of women, and it's a lot of ridiculous shit that I ran into. There's a woman, dude, like there have been women that were pregnant on Tinder that I matched with. I'm like, no, I don't want you. I unmatched. Another woman, yeah, my baby's 4 months. 4 months? And you looking for a boyfriend? Where's the baby daddy? Yeah, he's around. He's doing his baby daddy things, but we're not together. Nah, see, there's still, you just going through postpartum. There's still some like connection and emotion still there. You probably want some get back or whatever. But no, I don't unmatch. All right. So women with kids, unmatched. It's like sometimes some guys, it's like one is okay. One is like, okay, but I'm not taking you seriously, but I can fly back and forth. You know, if the baby daddy's out the picture in a totally different city, never comes and sees his kid, yeah, I'll come through and hit it, but I don't take you seriously like that. And when you're at work, I'm gonna dip off. I'm keeping my options open, you know, when my time is done with you. Right. When you go into work, I'm keeping my options open still. It's not gonna be 100% me being 100% faithful like that. I'm keeping my options open for a woman with no kids. Then I take her seriously if her mind is right. Right. But it was a lot of baby mama, drama out there in Panama. There's a lot of tattoos out there. So be prepared for that. Whereas, like, when you go to Asia, it's less of that. I'm not saying it's 0% of that. No, it's there, especially in Thailand. But it's less tattoos. It's less baby mamas in Thailand. There's still baby mamas in Thailand, but it's not as much as Panama. I've had a unmatched, cut off, cute women because they had kids in Panama. So as far as and then you know the, the the cost of everything is a little bit more expensive. Okay, not in the Ubers. The Ubers are cheap. I heard the local restaurants, the local Panamanian restaurants are cheap, but when you do the I would say like the international restaurants, you go down that route, you try to fancy it up a little bit, it's gonna cost. Right. So best thing to do, find you a cheap flight, fly down there, uh get an Airbnb. Airbnbs are cheaper, especially than the hotel that I was in. The hotel I was in was like $180 a night. And that was like, I think at my discount, that was a disc. So really it was like $200 a night. Airbnbs, you can find some decent Airbnbs for, like $50, $60 a night, the entire apartment. Right. And there's more you could do with that. So instead of just eating out all the time, you know, maybe sometimes you just want to buy some food, cook, and then go out at night and, go hunting or whatever. But if you're on a budget, right? And then when you meet someone that you like and she's showing cooperation, you could take her out for a meal the next day or whatever. But other than that, I would say, um, you know, the cost, like it can get expensive depending on what you do, right? And my time there was pretty expensive. I ate at nothing but steakhouses when I was there, right? And look what I did when I went to the Habanos Cafe. I bought food for the whole. I bought drinks for the hoes, and I had fun with the hoes. So that I was just having fun, and having fun costs. I had drinks with the hoes. I fed the hoe. So yeah, what's expensive in Panama is accommodation, hotel, and food and chicks. Other than that, Panama is cheap, and I agree. I agree. Some people feel like, I think what it is when you don't find something solid over there, when you don't have something lined up down there, right? Then you know, and then you hit the streets. The prices vary. All right. On the higher end, $200. That's a lot. It's you shouldn't be spending more than 150 if you go down to women, but that's still even a lot considering like Thailand, you can get women for like $30. But see, the thing about Thailand is like, the average monthly wage is like what, $200 a month. And then see Thailand, $200, like you could have a chick for the weekend, right? But like, hey, kick it with me for like 2-3 days. I'll give you 7,000 baht. She'd be like, okay, right? But that is for a couple of hours, $100, $150 down there. So you got to make sure your game is tight. If your game is tight, you don't have to worry about that. If you have something lined up, your game is tight, more than likely, hey man, if you somebody who don't care about kids, you just trying to hit, then you don't have to worry about that $150, $200 price point, right? You just having fun, you just want to smash or whatever. Then, like Saul said, hotel and food accommodation, right? I had a hotel room at the Intercontinental, smack dab on Cinta Costera, right? Right on the strip. That's $200 a night. Airbnbs, I got some Airbnb saved from Panama, and it's not. Let me look at my list. Okay, $90 a night, $107 a night, $68 a night. Wait a minute. You could go cheap or expensive on. Let me not do more. Let me set it to like. Hold on. Let me double check. Let's set it to July. All right, so entire home. I'm just looking at the list right now. I'm doing a quick search. $61 a night for an entire penthouse. $113 a night. $72 a night. $60 a night. $100 a night. $72 a night. $75 a night. $75 a night. $73 a night. $74 a night. $56 a night. And this one is very nice with free cancellation. I'm going to save this. So the range is around about the average is about here's a nice one for $80 a night. The average is between like $70 to $80 a night. So you don't have to do what I did, right? That's where it gets expensive. Um I don't know, you guys. Some of you guys, you're okay with a woman having kids as long as you don't see those kids and she's available when you get down there. If she comes and sees you, if you hitting it when you get down there. Me, I'm more of a type of guy where I don't like messing around with women with kids. I don't even like having fun with women who got kids. All right, so um the only other gripes that I have was they're a little bit personal that I could tax onto it. So, you know, a lot somebody, some of that Western a man should court me. That's in some of the minds down there with women in Panama. The ones with kids, even if they got one kid, some of them those the women with kids, they're the ones they'll just show up. They'll be like, okay, where's your hotel? I'll go over there right now. The women with kids, they'll show up. The like 25 and younger, eights and nines with no kids, you know, there's a lot of ridiculous behavior there. So you can go either way down there. Um, I would say the cooperation in Panama, it's a lot better than Thailand. Thailand, that colorism, you being black, that's ingrained in the culture. You hollering at random women on the street, you can't really do that in Thailand. You could definitely do that in Panama. And there's a different variety of women, right? Who the hell is There's definitely a variety of women in oops. There's definitely a variety of women of different colors, different shades in Panama. All right. To be honest, Panama's still cheaper compared to cities like New York, Miami, Boston, where the hotel room can cost up to $400 a night. Panama is 20 years behind in terms of yeah, but Saul, like we're not even when we talk about destinations and passport bros, we're not even thinking about New York, Miami, or Boston. Not even a cost because I don't think it's worth even traveling to New York, in my opinion. When we talk about the costs, we're comparing it to like different cities and countries in Asia, other countries in Latin America. That's what we're comparing it to because these are the places we want to go to. We don't really want to go to New York, Miami, or Boston, respectfully. But still, I know what you mean. Um, at one point in time, I used to add Vancouver, Toronto in the comparison. Now I don't anymore. Will I go to Vancouver again? Absolutely. I will. But am I going to make a big announcement about it? No. One day I'm just going to pop up there. I could have went to Vancouver this past week. For those that don't know, I was in Canada. I was stuck in Canada for a week. But I spent so much money in Panama that I didn't even bother booking a flight to go to Vancouver. I was told on Tuesday, like, hey, um, yeah, sorry. You gotta wait till Friday. If I never went to Panama, I'd have went to Vancouver. I just booked a flight, left Tuesday, came back Friday. Right? I'm not gonna say I'm the king of Van City. I wouldn't even put myself on the spectrum over there, but I used to tell those stories on here. They were a little bit too raunchy. So if I still got them, I think I deleted them. But if I still got those stories, I'll probably put them on the Patreon page. Right. Got to start cleaning stuff up on YouTube on the main channel. But um, I'm past Canada for now. I know I'll go back to Vancouver one day, but I'm past Canada. Really, I think the next, really, I think a good destination, some of these African countries, some of these poor African countries. You got black women over there, African women over there with body. Yeah, that I'm not so focused on the ones with strong faces. The cute ones with body, the main thing is like, okay, their hair, cheap wigs and raggedy hairstyles. Yes, that's a problem, but I think Africa is kind of like a more solid destination. It's just the flight duration is pretty long. The flights are expensive round trip, right? But Africa, man, there's so much I could talk about with Africa. I mean, there's a lot of women with no kids over there, no boyfriend, low body counts. Um, some of them only making like $100 a month, right? They're just longing for a decent husband with a little bit of paper. And man, you send them $50. $50 goes a long way over there. $50 a month to a woman over there, that goes a long way over there. There's some brothers like they travel back and forth. They got kids over in Africa, and then when you invest into your woman over there in Africa, it's like they got that hustle spirit as well. You could easily start a business over there. You could easily have children with a woman over there, give her just a couple $1,000s to start a business, and they become self-sufficient. Or, you could take that same woman, depending on her English skills, because they have like there's so many different languages in Africa, right? Take someone from Cameroon, for example, a very poor country. Money goes a long way. Um, let's say they don't speak English, they only speak French. They're using a translator to talk to you. You could easily put her in English school for like $300, right? And that lasts for months. They're learning English so that they can better communicate with you and others. But you are more of a, they could practice their speech with you, right? They learn all the grammar and the basics at school, but they practice their speech and they're practicing at school also, but they're practicing the pronunciation with you because African English is going to sound totally different than how you're speaking English. But as soon as their English gets better, you can send them over to China, right? Or Guangzhou, China, give them a couple dollars to go to China. Man, then they get into trade, and then they're able to start giving a service to other Africans in China, um, import export from China back to their home country, the African country, and be able to start a business and target the American market as well, right? So there's three sources of income while they're over in Africa, and you put it anywhere, they're gonna go. They're gonna get the money, right? Then they find other people within their community, and they, you know, they use them as different resources in order to gain information and to get ahead, right? That support system. So I would look at Africa, right? And, eventually, if you invest into your woman, see, the thing is, they could do the job. A lot of these women, they just don't have the money. But if you invest in your woman, they become self sufficient. Then they end up, having disposable income. They end up taking you on vacations. You understand? Um, but that's a different video, and that's what I'm going to talk about on tonight's special. I'm gonna go more in depth on it tonight. Well, early in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when I do my Patreon special. All right. But as far as my final thoughts on Panama, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. It still has its flaws. It's just it needs some hangout spots, right? Like even in Vancouver, there's way more hangout spots in Vancouver. You would think Vancouver is like the Canadian Panama. No. Panama is nowhere near Vancouver, right? Vancouver, there's so many different spots to hang out at. It's ridiculous. You can hang out at the Quarry Market in North Vancouver. I still haven't even explored all of Vancouver. I just know that Quarry Market, that's a good hangout spot. Um, there's some restaurants that had a fairly cheap price on an outdoor deck, and you can hang out with your lady there. They got the beach, they got the park there, Stanley Park. They got that what that boardwalk or whatever that goes around the coast. Um, there's so many kick it spots in Vancouver. You just don't. It doesn't feel like you know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Salute to Mufasa. 7 out of 10 is solid. You're speaking facts, brother. What would you rank Panama, Mufasa? Would you say it's a 7 out of 10, or do you think it's an 8 out of 10? Saul said it's an 8 out of 10. I respect that ranking. Would you say it's a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10? It's not a 9 and it's not a 10. Definitely. At first, I gave it a 6, but I'm like, nah, 6 is low. Right? A 6 is low. Because 7 out of 10 is solid. Yeah, see, there's still that level of cooperation there, right? There's still women that are, they're cute, they got body, and there's cooperation there. Or at least they're nice in person, right? I didn't meet anybody. See, in Thailand, you meet a bunch of rude people in Thailand. Don't listen to one. I lived in Thailand off and on for 8 years. There's a lot of rude people in Thailand. I hate going to immigration. I hate going to any immigration spot. There's a bunch of immigration spots to go to. Like if you're staying in Nonton Booty, and you have to extend over there, you can't go to Bangkok's immigration office to extend your visa. You have to go to the one in Nonton Booty. I got into it with the people in Nonton Booty, the immigration spot in Bangkok. That's stressful. The one in Rangsit, there have been times I had to go back and forth there. Hey, this ain't right or whatever. You got to go back and do this or whatever. I've extended the one in Kangkoi. I hate going through immigration. There's a lot of it's stressful. There's rude people there. When you work there, there's rude people you got to work with. Sometimes, not everybody, but sometimes when you go to these these tourist spots or malls, you got people that don't want to help. You ask them a question, like, I don't work over in that section. It's like, okay, well, who does? I don't know. Go look, right? It's like, well, fuck you then. And then they play victim, they get defensive, and then they run to the back, start crying. It's like, I've had to curse out quite a few people in Thailand. Then it's like the hoes are very selective. They got a little attitude. You walk down like Soy Six in Bangkok, right? If there's like some obese white dudes in front of you, the women they come out, they're all cheering, they're trying to get their attention, right? Soon as they pass up on all these women, here you come, your black ass comes walking behind them. Some of them will just run to the back. Oh, okay. No, we good. We don't even care if you got the money, black man. It's just it ain't even about the money now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the holes are selective. Or it's like when you go to Panama, even if you're around hoes, it's like, the women, they actually, the local women and the hoes, they like black men. There's a lot of women who like black men there. It's not like this image, yeah, it's AI. And obviously the hands and the fingers are kind of fucked up. This woman obviously has a ghost hand that's coming out of her ass that he's holding on to and a hand up here, right? But besides the faulty AI imagery, this is actually the optics of it. This image right here is actually normal in Panama, right? A brother like yourself can find somebody just like this. But I'm not sure how the local dark skinned men feel about it. Maybe there's that colorism element that's there, but you could easily find you something decent in Panama, right? But Thailand is like, I mean, there's a lot of hoes over there, but you see, I'm even on dating apps. I haven't even dealt with rude women on dating apps, right? Tinder being the lowest of the low, Bumble, even when like you're talking and you're asking questions. I haven't ran into rude women even on dating apps when you're not in front of them. Thailand, you run into dozens upon dozens of bitches on those dating apps. Like just trying to have a conversation with them, like getting to know them, they get mad when you start. Why the fuck you asking me all these questions? Are you the police? So me asking you about, what do you do for a living? How many siblings do you have? And that's the process of getting to know you. That blew my fucking mind in Thailand. Fuck Thailand. Fuck Thailand. It's like asking a question, they get irritable. That irritates them in Thailand. So I didn't run into anybody rude in Panama, whether it was in person or online. Not to say that they don't exist over there. I just haven't met them yet. Right. So they're more of a pleasure to deal with. But if it costs, it's going to cost you more than Thailand. Um, and sometimes they gotta have to have a kid or two for them to be even more cooperative, right? There's some women that, you know, they're an 8, they're a 9, they don't have any kids. It's like they feel like you're the one that has to reach out to them. You gotta be the hey, good morning, beautiful man to them. That's what they think. And it's like, bitch, you got me fucked up. But some people they just might play that role well until they smash a few times and then they gone. That's probably why a lot of those women are single mothers over there, right? But I'm still learning about the culture. Does anybody else have any questions or comments they would like to share before I get up out of here? Anybody have any questions, comments? Does anybody want to come up and speak? Let me know. If you're interested in hollering at African women. There's an app that they use that you can easily get at African women. I will share that on Patreon tonight. So when I mean tonight, I mean like 3 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning. All right. So um yeah. If you're interested, let me know. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Questions or comments? Or maybe you guys are typing. All right, so check out the links in the description box below for the Patreon page, for the Facebook page as well. Like I said, there's going to be another video that I'm going to post on the Patreon page early in the morning. So if you're up late and you're already on Patreon, stay tuned. But it'll be there when you wake up. All right, I'm over and I'm out. You guys stay safe. I think I want to end this right here on the Panamanian series. I think we said enough. Next step is for you to travel down to Panama and then come back and tell us about your experience. Um, I think safety is like, as far as ranking, safety is like, that deserves 2 points. That deserves 2 points. A place outside of America, in Latin America, where it's very safe and it's not that far to travel to, right? Because is Nick still here? Nick, are you still here? I have a question for Nick because I didn't see you the last couple of lives, but I know we spoke a couple weeks ago, but I have a question. I'm wondering, is Nick here? Because I have a question for Nick. I didn't get a chance to ask this question the last time. Nick, you were the one that told me about Guatemala, right? You were the one that mentioned about Guatemala, and you gave your take on Guatemala, correct? I think that was Nick Travels. I think that was Nick Travels. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. El Salvador. No, it was Mufasa. I think I was talking about Guatemala. Nick Trout. You was talking about El Salvador. Correct. Now, Nick, are you black or are you Hispanic? I didn't ask that question the last time. Are you black or are you Hispanic? Or what's your ethnic background? Because that's what I wanted to ask. You're black. Okay. Because I remember you said most people don't know if you're like American until you tell them. So I didn't know if that meant that you were Hispanic or not, but you're black. Now, I had my location set to Guatemala, but nobody was biting. Well, no, El Salvador, excuse me. I had my location set to El Salvador, but nobody was biting at all on the dating app. So maybe it's more of a in-person type of thing, but nobody was biting in El Salvador at all. So you can't really line anything up. I'll be joining the military soon, Splash. Are you still going to visit Saudi Arabia? I want to talk to you about that, but you got to hit me up on Patreon. If you're gonna join the military, hit me up on Patreon, and then we could do a phone conversation. And you don't have to charge for that. You've already supported enough. Well, I'm not gonna charge you for that. So, but if you want information about the military, I can give you information on that in person. I'm willing to do that for you for free. All right, but you just got to send me a message on Patreon. If I think you're still a member on there. Are you still going to visit Saudi Arabia? Mm, it depends. If I go, it'll either be in August or it'll be springtime next year, depending on how things go. And how has Canada been since you visited recently? Well, I go to Alberta, and Alberta is just it's trash. It's dead. It's not what it was back in 2011, 2012. Totally different. The vibe is totally different. Um, Women don't even go out anymore. You know, women don't even really go out anymore. Like this one cafe, like Cactus Club, the Cactus Club Cafe. They used to have a DJ. They got rid of the DJ, so the dime stopped pulling up at night. Um, so it's a lot of older women that show up now. You don't really see any cute women at the mall like that. Um, all the little hangout spots where cute women used to show up at, they're not there anymore. So I would still say give White Avenue a shot if you're ever in Edmonton, but it's starting to warm up. It's going to warm up, so I'm going to make sure I hang out more in on White Avenue this time. I'm going to do that a lot more this time. Frederick Fredericks. What are the women like in Panama? Are they looking for something long term? There's a difference between. There's a lot of 8s and 9s in Panama. Let's not get it misunderstood. Now, are there women? Obviously, there are women that are below 8s and 9s there in Panama, right? I mean, you're gonna see some 4s, some 5s, some 3s, but there's a lot of body in Panama. There's a lot of 7s, 8s, and 9s roaming around Panama. Now, if you meet the 8s and 9s that don't have a kid, they like early to mid 20s, don't have a kid, they're kind of delusional, right? You could maintain something with them, but they want you to kind of chase after them a little bit. A couple of 8s and 9s. I mean, I met one 21 years old university student, um, virgin. I got a picture of her up on the Facebook page. The problem with her was like, you know, she it was almost like she wanted me to, you know, get on her program. And I'm like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. All right. I'm a masculine male. And I'm taking more of the financial, I'm picking up more of the financial load because I'm footing the flight, the hotel, right? The food, I'm paying for everything when I'm coming down here. No, ma'am. You're on my program. And I haven't heard from her ever since. Right? There was another chick. She was a 9, body, ass, titties. no kids. It's almost like she wanted me to get on her program as well. No, ma'am. That's not how this goes. I haven't heard from her ever since either. But like the women with kids, obviously their body isn't going to be as sharp as the ones with no kids. Um, Especially like you get in the late 20s, early 30s. Some of these women, it's like, they're not heavy in the gym. They're kind of frumpy built a little bit. They start developing a pudge, and they're the ones that like, they're the most communicative. They're the ones that they're not asking for support or anything. They're the ones like when I was in Panama, they wanted to like just pull up to the hotel. The single mothers wanted to pull up to the hotel, but the ones with no kids that were fairly young, they was giving. They're kind of delusional. Saul will even tell you. Saul, he had a he had a girl that he was with for about 9 months in Panama, traveling back and forth. But then, and I've seen pictures of her. As a matter of fact, she's on Bumble. I saw her on Bumble yesterday. She's 25 now, but look really good, cute glasses, in shape. You know, I would definitely give her an 8, but from what Saul said, she started to ask for a bunch of money. He had to let her go. So, it's the thing about single, childless, good-looking women in Panama, they talk themselves out of a man. You know how we say in America, men talk themselves, or lame men talk themselves out of getting pussy from women? It's like, damn, she was ready to give you some pussy and you said something stupid. You just talked yourself out of having sex for her. Women kind of talk themselves out of getting a man in Panama. It's like, are you like, everything was going so well, right? The meetup, the video calls, everything goes so well, and then with all women, it's always something. It's always something. But the ones that are childless and everything is like, no, you got to message me every day and check up on me and send me messages, and I'm like, what the fuck? You got to court me. I don't have to do a motherfucker. It's 2025. I'm not courting nobody. Like, there's the quality of women out here today doesn't require me to court anybody. Y'all have fucked up the dating market. I'm not courting nobody. Are you crazy? Then one of them hoes was like, oh, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna call you. She doesn't call, right? So you don't hear the next day. But then 2 days later, it's like, so if I don't message you, you don't hear from me. You don't message nobody. Bitch, I'm not chasing you. Like, it's Panama. I can find another you. Not only in Panama, I could find another you anywhere. Right? You're lucky I'm being honest, because if I wanted to be if I wanted to be lame, and I would kind of play the role that you want me to play until now I'm hitting that, and then you end up pregnant, and then it's just like, yeah, I don't even want it no more. Right? Just like all these other women in Panama. That's probably why there's a bunch of single women over there. At one point in time, they was in their early 20s. They were in 8 or 9, and then they saying the same shit that these bitches was saying to me over there to their men, and then the men kind of played the role until they got that pussy. They was fucking them. They had access to their bodies without marriage or anything like that. Then they end up knocking them up, and the dudes was like, all right, my job here is done. I'm gonna move on with the next chick. I could have done that to you, but I kept the real and I let you go. The minds of some of these single women with no kids down there is backwards. Some of them, not all. Do you intend to respond video to Vice documentary Passport Bros when he splash commentary on what Vice documentary? Well, Vice is kind of a big channel. Like they do, I mean, they talk about gangs and politics and why are American men moving to Colombia? Jamali Maddie meets the Passport Bros. Vice shames Passport Bros. Shame a Hail Mary to stop black men moving to Colombia. Well, I mean, I could do that. I could do that. But see, the thing is Vice has no agenda to destroy Passport Bros. You see, the thing is, man, look, they're saying why are American men moving to Colombia? The real question is, why are Colombian women moving to America? I mean, didn't we just we're having an immigration issue. There's a bunch of illegals here. Man, them Latinas turned New York City into a favela. They were standing on every corner throwing pussy at everybody who was willing to buy it from them. They turned the entire borough of Queens into a hostro. So I don't want to hear what Vice has to say about Passport Bros, but I will do a video on that. I'll respond to it. Yeah, I mean, there's African women here. There's women of all over Africa that come over to America. Women from all over Latin America, Canadian women, East Indian, Chinese, Filipino, Asian women. They're all in America. So what the fuck are they talking about? It's just an agenda to shame men. That's it. They're not being honest. They're not. What about all the American women that go down to Jamaica? All the Canadian women that go down to Jamaica? All the British elderly white women that go down to Africa? Right? You know how many women that traveled all over Asia? When I was living in Thailand, I met Chinese women, Japanese women, Korean women. I met women from Laos, Cambodia, the Philippines, Vietnam, the UK, America, Canada. You think they just went over there and who do you think they were having sex with when they went over there? You think women just travel and they stay celibate? No. Tons of Argentinas and Venezuelans moving to Miami. Yeah. Russians. Yeah. So I don't want to hear that shit about shaming, but it's just the agenda. It's just, but not just Passport Bros. Like it's within every industry shaming men, especially black men. We need to shame black men in basketball and in football, right? They got into a shoving match, a shouting match. We're going to suspend him, and then we're going to fine him $100,000, right? You look over at hockey, white boys are getting it in every game, going hard in the paint. They just sit in the penalty box, and then they come back out and they fight again, right? Everybody else gets a pass, but, sometimes it's black men, sometimes it's all men, right? So it's just another tactic to shame men. Most foreign women come here and only want white men, though. It's harder for a regular black dude to get them. California is the Mike. Well, I mean, it regardless, it doesn't matter what race of men they get with. It doesn't matter which race they get with. They're getting with local American men when they come over. Right? So Why do Chinese women move to, I mean, if everybody had to hold their own and stay within their own country and try to find a way and make it work for them, Houston wouldn't have all these East Indian and African women and Vietnamese women and Filipino women over here. It would be just blacks and whites. So, but hey, it's everybody else's fault. Why are they over here? So what? And you got to start telling people, hey man, like I don't have to explain myself why I'm going over to this country because I can, because I'm allowed to, right? Because I can. So hold on. Mm. True, I get your point. Foreign women are hypergamous. They come to America for the men in proximity to resources. No, it's not about hypergamy. I know somebody in what's that spot in Montana? Judith Gap, Montana. I stopped over there to use the restroom, and it's some convenience store. I mean, there's only a handful of people that live in that town. I go inside the convenience store. It's an Asian woman behind the counter. I'm like, are you serious? Then you go to Shelby, Montana. There was an Asian woman at the town pump there working behind the counter. Hypergamy. Hypergamy. And you end up in Montana. So they don't care about that. They just want they just want a baby from a white man. That's it. It's not about it's never about money. Let's stop this thing where most of these women, it's not about money. I mean, if it was about money, most of these basketball players, these athletes, they wouldn't be getting fucked over by their ex-wives or their baby mamas, especially black women in America. They like it's like if I wasn't the main contributor of your success, I don't respect your money. You see what I'm saying? It's like I'll take your little measly dollars and walk off like a model, like what Webby said. But they don't care about your money. You got money and you meet a woman with who claims like she's looking for a provider. Get the fuck out of here. If that's the case, bitches will be beating down my door. Like, do you know where I live? Like, y'all know where I live. If I actually walked outside with my phone, you'd be like, oh shit. So I don't want to hear all this whole provider hypergamy. It's bullshit. It's like what Asians do. It's like what Asians do the same thing. Asian children, they do the same thing. It's called saving face, right? When you go over to China, Thailand, name an Asian country over, developed or poor, you ask any kid in school what do they want to be when they get out of high school. They say doctor, lawyer, astronaut. And then when this information comes over to America, they post this shit up on any blog site just to shame American kids. These kids, they don't want to be no fucking doctor. They don't go to medical school. They end up working at a noodle stand, right? The girls, they end up getting on these apps, shaking their ass for money and tips and donations, putting on a whole bunch of makeup and dancing for money, right? They end up sucking dick for a living. Some of the boys do the same thing too, right? They go down that route too. They do that to save face because it's a foreigner there. So it's like, I'm supposed to say this. This is and they give that in English. Kids in America, they tell you the truth. Like, yeah, I want to be a YouTuber. I had students in Thailand. They were like 15 years old, and they would go down to uh, Khao San Road every single night to turn out tricks down there and lie about the age. There were students that the girls got together in their homeroom and they wrote down on a piece of paper the list of countries, and then there were check marks next to these countries. When I asked, "What is that? Like, why do you have all these countries written down?" You would think it's all these countries that they want to visit. No. One of the boys pulled me to the side and said, "Teacher, that's a list of countries, men from countries that they've had sex with because they're sex workers on Khao San Road." I'll never forget that. Right. So all that shit, they do the same thing in America. Women, it's like, oh, I want a provider, I want a man, I want someone that's to save face, right? Because in some women, they break code and some women, they'll be honest and say they want a thug. And it's like, all right. But all the other women that say, I want a man that's making this much, yada, 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 that's the save face. I'm B to the I'm B to the channel, bro. Your content popped up in my feed. Salute. There's a typo there, but thanks. Facts, they worship whiteness as a status symbol to be with a white man and have his baby. White dudes know these foreign women worship them. That's why I stopped messing with foreign women. To be honest, I don't blame you. I didn't see that in Panama. Not to say that it doesn't exist, but I guess because I didn't see a lot of white people on my travels there. Asian culture is crazy. Bill My ex was from the Philippines. It was like nothing I've ever dealt with before. To be honest, I don't. I made the mistake but I did that as a learning experience, and I did that so you don't have to. But man, don't move over to Asia. It's a great place to visit, but if you're trying to accomplish three things at once, like lifestyle, work, and build a family over there in Asia, living abroad, that's the worst thing you could do. I'm gonna be honest, like Asian women, I'll just say they're very like eccentric. You understand the things you go through with Asian women. It's like it like you've never gone through those issues with anybody else. The stuff they get upset about, they complain about, or it's like it's not even to me. I'll just say totally different culture. I'm just not up for trying to date Asian women anymore. And that's no disrespect. I would never. Like if I go to Asia, it's because I just want to travel. I want to see Osaka Castle again or something like that, right? It's cool visiting these places, but as far as dating and dealing with the people, living amongst the people, I would never do that again. Never. It's just not my preference anymore. My preference has changed over the years. So Latinas, and I'm starting to explore and deal with African women now, but I don't date. It's just my preference. I prefer not to date Asian women or Caucasian. That's just not my or any women from America or Canada, even Black American women. I'm still doing my research on African women, but just not my thing no more. 3D, call in, tell your story. I love Asian women too, but I had to stop. I never said I love them. I didn't go to Asia because I love Asian women. It's just, you know, I don't judge on race. I never had a fetish for any race of women. I definitely didn't have an Asian women fetish like a lot of brothers out here. I don't. But and when guys say, yeah, Asian women, I'm just like, when y'all pull up with some of these women, it goes kind of they're kind of the opposite of what you described on what you looked in what you looked in a woman. You know what I'm saying? So hey, but if you want to go over there, live over there, and trying to build a family, good luck. What is it to love about? Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me. Okay, Russian spy. I gotta put you on timeout for a little bit. I didn't ban him. I put him on timeout. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I wasn't trying to ban Russian spy. I just needed to put him on timeout. Didn't I click timeout? Damn it. How do I get Russian spy back in here? It says ban. I wasn't trying to ban Russian spy. Yeah, I'll do it later, but we can't be saying all that. We can't. Southern Europe is the move for me. I'm done with Asian and Latinas. Okay. Have you traveled anywhere in Latin America? Russian spy, if you're listening, it says he was. That's not what it says on my end. It says that Russian spy was banned and their comments were removed. That's what it says on my end. So I didn't. If I Russian spy, if I banned you, I didn't mean to do that. But if it timed you out, then I did mean to time you out, but not to ban you. I apologize. 3D, have you ever traveled to Latin America? To be honest, man, like everybody has a preference. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. It doesn't offend me if a woman says they don't date black men. I don't get offended, but um, you know, like it's I would never ever. Every time I say never, something changes. I change my mind or something. But trust me, like because I might meet an Asian woman who's very cooperative, and it changes my. But that's I'm dealing with an individual person, like. But to put yourself over in their home country and date, I don't. I wouldn't even do that. It's I've been to 4 Latin American countries. Uh, what was it about Latinas you didn't like? What happened? It's supposed to be 5 minutes, but it says ban, and I didn't mean to ban. Well, actually, the timeout symbol is right next to his name, so I guess it is timed out. I should have just deleted the comment. I apologize. But I've timed out Russian spy before, so I don't think he's offended by that. I've timed him out several times before, but I don't think he gets offended by that. But it does have the timeout symbol right next to, so we'll see. I've lived in Peru for a year, Paraguay for a year, and visited Colombia and Argentina. So, what didn't you like about those places? Panama is still green compared to Colombia, Brazil, and the DR. I have everything I need there. Yeah, same for me. That's why, like, culturally, I was trying to connect with Panama. For those that don't know, my mom's side of the family, they're all from Panama. Like, my mom was born in Panama. My grandmother's from Pueblo Nuevo, Panama. My grandfather's from Colon, Panama. So, my mom was born in Panama City. So that's why I went. But I'm glad I did go. Right. Now, if I could turn back the hands of time, my job now, I would have applied for it in 2008. And then I would have just been taking trips to Panama. I would have saved a lot of time wasted in, well, I wouldn't say I wasted time in Canada. I did have a lot of good times, a lot of good nights in Panama or in Canada. I could have skipped Asia, but I did visit a lot of fly countries over there, you know. But visiting would have been better instead of living. Like I got to see pretty much everywhere in Asia. I still need to go to Macau. I haven't been there yet. But how bad is the colors and white worship in Asia? It's very bad. It's way worse than Panama. It's way worse. Let's put it this way. The caliber of women I met in Panama, I would have never met them in or in Thailand. Taiwan, did I meet any dimes in Taiwan? I didn't meet any dimes in Taiwan. I don't think I saw any dimes. There's some cute women over there. Actually, no, I did. I did. I did. I did. But I didn't really like the mindset over there either. Thailand. Um, you know, remember that picture I posted up a few live streams ago, that one girl's backside, big ass, and then you can see her chest from behind and stuff like that. I dated her off and on for years. Like, I've dated her off and on for years. I was actually supposed to go to Thailand instead of going to Panama because, me and her were supposed to get together and hook up. Do I still have that picture on my computer? But right before I went, she copped a weird little attitude. And I'm just like, man, I'm done. Because we just always back and forth, back and forth. As a matter of fact, I still got the picture. I'll show you. For guys who missed out, this is who I was dating in Thailand off and on for years. All right, for years. That's a more recent photo of her. Her company, she works with a high-end hotel. Her company paid for her and some of the staff members to go out to the Maldives. But when me and her have been off and on since 2016, right? Like, if her mind, but see, the thing about it is out of all the women that I've met, her mindset was the second best in Asia. And that's not saying that should tell you something right there. Okay, Russian spy is back, so I did time him out. I'm glad. I wasn't trying to ban him. But yeah, this is what I had. I had another chick out there, body was crazy, right? Lived all the way by Assumption University in Bangkok. She had a vehicle and she would drive all the way from Assumption University to Hoi Quang in Bangkok to come see me. That was a long drive. She would cook for me and everything. But when King Bhumibol had passed, it was like she just, she acted different and we separated. So this is what I was pulling in Thailand. But see, the thing was, right before I was about to go to Thailand, this past month. We were supposed to get together this month. Had this weird attitude and just, you know, for no reason. But that's all the time with her. And I just said enough is enough. I don't want to speak to her again. I've moved on. So the back and forth is come on, get your mind right. And she's not no spring chicken. Salute to J Bones. Colombia was okay, but it's played out. I went in 2018. It was way too many foreigners there. Panama was nice and chill. Okay. Which country in Asia had the most and least white worship? So 3D's just kind of burnt out of being in Latin America. He wants to try something new. I get it. The the most white worshipingest places that I've been to on a business level, China was number one on the list. On a personal level, Thailand was definitely up there. Taiwan, they still white worship. It's just on a business and a personal level. But I didn't see too many like they were there, but I didn't see too many. I just didn't overall. I didn't see that many interracial relationships in Taiwan. There was a lot of foreigners hooking up with each other in Taiwan. Um, Korea's gotten better. It's still white worshiping on a business and personal level, but I know we haven't seen him around in a long time. Izzy, he goes by Merit Man, the producer from my hometown, the beat maker from my hometown. He's living in Korea. He's married with a child now. He just posted up his wife recently because she graduated from university. Very pretty. Very pretty. So he's tall black man, in Korea. So it's gotten better. But everywhere you go, it's white worship. Everywhere you go, colorism. Everywhere you go, you can't outrank one over the other. It's the same everywhere you go. Paraguay was good for dating, to be honest. The women are exactly what I like: thick, white skin, long black hair women. But the country itself, I didn't really like. It's in the Amazon jungle. The weather is awful. Okay, where is Paraguay on the map? Where is Paraguay on the map? How far is it? A lot of brothers, they don't care. If oh, damn, it's way down there. All right, but I don't want to travel any place past Panama, because the flight is too long. That's good information, though. Maybe one day you can call up and, break down your experience for us in Paraguay. A lot of brothers would love to hear that. Body crazy, but yeah, I already read that. Peru's my favorite country on earth, but the women there are slim, native, Inca looking, beautiful, but they prefer white men. Some like black dudes, but the majority white. Do whatever for white zaddy. I think that element's going to be anywhere you go. Peru's on my list. Love slim, athletic, fit native chicks. Okay. He loves Peru. It's Thailand or Philippines. It's documented. Thailand or Philippines are typically the most white worshiping. There was a study about it. Okay. Yeah, one of my homies, he went to the Philippines and said that the white worshiping there was worse than Thailand. Even women on like these dating apps like Thai Friendly and Pina Love, like their attention spans are very, very short. They'll talk to you one day, you don't hear from them ever again the next. So I deleted those apps because I just don't plan on ever going there again. Argentina is a beautiful country. It looks like Europe. The food there is amazing. Steak and wine are elite. The women are slim, thick, white, long black hair. Dating there is hot, hit or miss. They are feminists. Yeah, I figured. There's a lot of Argentina people from Argentina here in Texas. Now there are interesting. Yeah, I heard good things about Paraguay, but it's boring. I'm going back to Japan next week for a month. Yeah, Fukuoka, Food City, but yeah, I remember you telling us last time. So, damn, next week you got to tap in with us. You got to tap in with us. I take Panama over Paraguay because of the infrastructure, weather, and beaches. They also have good Afro culture there. I felt at home there. Yeah, see, that's the thing about Panama. Like this guy walking next to this woman, he could easily be Panamanian. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of black people in Panama. See, these two right here, this is the face of Panama. All right. This skin tone and this skin tone right here. Those are the two types of people that I saw in Panama. Right. I didn't see a lot of white people in Panama. Right. They were the ones that I did see, they were foreigners. The Paraguay I've heard is very boring, but the safety is good and beautiful women, money, stretching. The women are obedient. I dated a girl from Paraguay when I played soccer for Notre Dame. Interesting. Hey, man, Paraguay, we probably got to put on the list. Texas and New York has a lot of Argentinian. Yep. $3 call in. I want three. Well, I gotta shut down because I gotta leave early in the morning. I would like for 3D to call in also, but uh damn, I don't know when's a good day for him to call. I might if I do a live stream, it won't be this late Friday. I might be in Canada Thursday, but I don't know what time I'll be in Canada Thursday. Yeah, it's because I gotta end this soon. I gotta end this stream soon. Um, so here's what we're gonna do. Uh brothers, brother man, brother man. What we gonna do is we're gonna come to an end, but I do have a very special Patreon video that I'm gonna break down what platform is best to use to holler at African women and which countries are best to holler at African women with this platform and just what to expect when you deal with an African woman. Right. I think that's the wave, but it's far, but that's the wave. African women from the continent, not from the continent, but actually in the continent. They were born and raised, and I'm not talking about Nigeria either or South Africa. We're talking about other countries, born and raised, still living in the continent. Um, those I'm starting to see those are probably the best women to deal with. But everybody's situation is different. Some people got to work in America and travel. Some people they're able to take their business with them overseas. All right. So, oh yeah, there's a lot of fine African women. I dated a lot of Africans when I lived in the Middle East. That's what's up. I didn't think they'd be over there. But man, African women. I think that's the wave right there. The only thing is just like when you see a cute one, they got body. They definitely got body, right? But it's the hair, the wigs that they use. It's you know what I'm saying. But if you got a solid African woman, like to get their hair done, it only costs like $30. It literally only costs like $30. So, um, but anyways, I'm gonna shut down this stream right now. You guys take care. All the Patreon members. I'll see you in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. If you're not on the Patreon page, the link is in the description box below. You don't want to miss this game that I have to drop. It's only going to be on Patreon. So check it out. It only costs $5 to get on Patreon. That's nothing. All right. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to break down. African women are about their money. That's exactly what I'm going to break down. Investing into an African woman. All right. So I'm over and I'm out. You guys take care. See you guys on Patreon. Russian Spy, hit me up on Patreon so we can talk. Peace.